Have you ever found an old piece of tech, maybe in a garage or an attic, and just wondered, hey, could I get this thing working again? Well, today we've got a story that's about exactly that. But it's about more than just soldering and fixing wires. This is about bringing a real legend back from the dead and plugging back into a golden age of a really cool hobby.
All right, so meet our main character, the Kenwood TS-130S. Now, if you're a ham radio operator, you know this is not just some old box. This thing is a legend from the 80s. It was known for being absolutely rock solid, and its speech processor, oh man, people still talk about it. This was a real workhorse on the airwaves.
But, this particular radio, it had a really rough go of it. I mean, just picture it. This icon of the airwaves, just sitting there, gathering dust in a box, forgotten in the dark. And that's where our story really kicks off, with a brand new ham radio operator who pulls this thing out of more than a decade of complete silence.
So, that brings us to the big question, right? After all those years of just sitting there, can this piece of vintage tech actually be saved? I mean, can it be cleaned up, fixed, and put back on the air where it belongs? Well, let's dive in and find out.
Okay, so our story really starts with this brand new ham operator who finds this forgotten treasure. He knew he had something special, but also knew it needed some serious TLC. So he passed it along to a more experienced hand to see if it could be prepped for a big comeback.
So, before you can fix anything, you got to figure out what's broken, right? And this is that moment, plugging it in for the first time in who knows how long. The good news? The heart of the machine was still beating. The bad news? It had a whole list of problems, some big, some small. So here's the initial rap sheet. First, the band switch, the knob you use to change frequency bands. It was all fiddly and made these awful scratchy noises. The main tuning knob? Totally loose and sloppy. And that classic warm glow from the display? Yeah, that was gone. The tiny little rice grain bulbs for both the dial and the meter were completely dead.
Yeah, that front panel really told a story of neglect. The main tuning knob just felt unresponsive. The band switch crackled every single time you turned it, and where you expected to see that warm, inviting glow, there was just nothing. Darkness. So the plan was clear. Tackle these issues one by one.
All right, with the problems all laid out, it was time to pop the hood and get to work. The restoration kicked off with the most obvious mechanical problems, starting with that super wobbly tuning knob. Now, fixing that loose knob wasn't as simple as it sounds. The problem was buried deep inside the radio. You had to find this little coupling assembly, carefully reach past all these delicate wafer switches, and then tighten 4 tiny little screws, grub screws, that had just worked themselves loose over the years. It's a small fix, but absolutely crucial to making the radio feel solid and responsive again. Okay, next on the list, that scratchy band switch. Oh man, if you've ever played with old stereos or any vintage electronics, you know exactly what that sounds like. It's that classic sign of dirt and oxidation building up on the internal contacts, basically just choking the electrical signal. Luckily, the solution is a classic, time-tested trick of the trade. First, you hit it with a good blast of contact cleaner. Then, and I love this phrase the technician used, you exercise the switch. That just means turning it back and forth over and over to really work that cleaner in and scrub those contacts clean. It's amazing what a little elbow grease can do. And look at this. This is just a perfect illustration of the cosmetic revival. On the left, you've got this dark, totally lifeless front panel. And then on the right, after swapping out those tiny little burned-out bulbs, bam! The whole thing just glows with that warm, vintage light that it was always supposed to have. It seriously looks alive again. While all this was going on, the repairman was navigating a world that looks like this. I mean, you don't have to be an electrical engineer to look at this schematic and just be amazed by the sheer complexity. It's really a testament to the incredible engineering and craftsmanship that went into these old radios. So, with all the main repairs done, it's time for testing. And that's when something unexpected popped up. A hidden limitation that, as it turns out, was also a hidden feature just waiting to be unlocked. So here was the weird thing. The radio could receive signals on a set of newer frequency bands, the WARC bands they're called, but it wouldn't transmit on them. And this wasn't a bug, it was actually a feature. See, Kenwood built this radio right when these new bands were being approved, so to be safe, they put in a little block to stop people from transmitting there, at least for a while. But this is the incredible part.
The secret to unlocking the radio's full power was hidden in plain sight the whole time, right there in the original user manual. The instructions were super simple. Find a specific brown wire and snip it. That's it. With one little cut, the radio's hidden capabilities were totally unleashed.
Okay, let's recap. The knobs are tight, the switches are clean, the lights are glowing, a secret feature has been unlocked. There's only one test left that really matters. Can it actually make a contact and talk to someone over the air?
This really is the moment of truth. After all that cleaning, tightening, and soldering, it all comes down to this one moment. Is it just a pretty box with lights, or can it actually reach out across the miles and make its voice heard again? So the operator spins the dial, finds an active frequency, listens for another station calling for contacts, and then he keys the mic and throws out his call sign. Just think about that. This is the first time in more than a decade that this radio has sent out a signal with the hope of a conversation. And a station all the way down in Texas answers back. So the operator explains what's going on, tells him he's testing out this old Kenwood that's literally been sitting in a basement for something like 12 or 15 years and was just brought back to life.
And then he says it, the words everyone was waiting for. He tells the guy in Texas, "You're the first contact with it." And the response comes back, loud and clear. That's it. It works. The first contact is a success. The legend from the basement is officially 100% back on the air.
You know, this was so much more than just a repair job. It was a revival. This was a piece of equipment designed for one thing, connection. And it was finally reconnected with its whole purpose, ready to go for a whole new generation of operator. And really, this gets to the heart of why a story like this is so cool. It's not just about one radio. As one Reddit user put it so perfectly, these old Kenwoods are just special. Even with all the fancy new high-tech radios out there today, there's a kind of magic to these old rigs that operators absolutely love. To quote the user directly, they just kick ass for casual operating. And that kind of leaves us with this final question, doesn't it? In an age of disposable everything, where we're so quick to just throw stuff out and buy the next new thing, what's the value in preserving the technology of the past? Maybe it's about appreciating good engineering, or connecting with history. Or maybe it's just a reminder that sometimes the things we take the time to save, well, they end up being the things that connect us the best.